Now it's time for local news from your hometown WTCV with your anchor, Mr. Kenny Lawson.
Good evening, Greenville. Tonight we're continuing our in-depth expose on motivation and what motivates people to do the things that they do. Our first segment finds Kenny live in the Gulf Coast as Hurricane Terry prepares to come ashore. Kenny, how are you? Tell us a little about what actions people are motivated to take or not take.
Thanks, Kenny. I'm at Bar's Hot Dog Hut in downtown, and one of the things I want to talk to you about is the motivations of the people in town that want to stay and the ones that want to leave. We're talking about proactive and reactive decisions. Some of our proactive decisions are the people that are evacuating. Sorry, but this is getting a little crazy with the wind. The people that are evacuating in the buses, and last year's hurricane they didn't. They're leaving in mass groups of buses and trams and trains, and they're getting out of here like crazy. The reactive people are staying at home and sitting on their houses and watching the floods come in, and they want to stay around. They have boats, and a lot of these people are not going to enjoy the repercussions of their homes being flooded, and it's getting crazy. As you can see with these images, the motivation is different from person to person. The proactive resident wants to save their life. The reactive person wants to see what happens and then makes a choice of what to do. Kenny, my proactive motivation is to get out of here.
Wow, thank you for that coverage, Kenny. I'm very motivated by that terrifying scene. Motivated to change my vacation plans, that is. You know, in journalism, we have a responsibility to cover all sides of the issues. So we located Debbie Downer, who is known all over for her demotivators. Let's go to Kenny live in downtown Dover, where he is on location with Miss Downer at her home. Hopefully we can get a better idea of how this lady is driven by demotivation. Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny. I'm here with Debbie Downer, who lives her life day in and day out by virtue of anti-motivation. Debbie, please share with us some of the ideas that have been brought to you to where you are today.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm pretty smart, okay? So it did not take me long to realize that if at first you don't succeed, failure just may be your style. For me, it was.
Okay, well, don't you have any dreams?
Dreams? Let me tell you how I see dreams. Dreams are like rainbows, and only idiots chase them.
Coming from you, that says so much. Do you have any advice about what it takes to reach your goal? What about putting forth some effort?
Oh, that one's easy. The harder you try, the dumber you look. Come on.
Well, thanks for that insight. I have truly enjoyed our time together this evening.
Yeah, well, I guess it's lucky for you that if you're attractive enough on the outside, people will forgive you for being irritating to the core. So I guess talking to you has been okay. I guess.
Thank you. Back to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny. I don't really know what to say about that. Moving right along. Our next segment, we go to Kenny on the baseball field. Kenny will discuss what motivates players and coaches. Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny. We're at Tusculum College, home of the Pioneer baseball team. Here in a minute, we'll talk briefly with Coach Doug Jones of the Pioneer baseball team. We're going to be asking questions about motivation. What motivates him? What motivates his players, his coaches? What reasons does his team have to set goals for their year, their championships? They want to make it to the regional tournament, national tournament. Different things that motivate each player is different from player to player. We're going to go in his office here in a minute, and before then we're going to try to interview a couple of the players and ask them what motivates them and what they feel like their coach does to motivate them as a student athlete. We're here with Sean Cotton, last year outfield for Tusculum College baseball team. He made the all-tournament team for the SAC tournament, and we're going to ask him what motivates him to become a better player. What's his why? What makes him go? So, Sean, what motivates you in the upcoming year to become a better baseball player?
When I go out on the baseball field, I want to be the best out there. I want people to see. I want to stand out in front of everybody. I want people to say, "Wow, he can really play." And I think that's the biggest thing. And I also want to help my team win the conference, go to the regional, and even World Series.
Okay.
We're in the office of Tusculum coach Doug Jones, and we're going to discuss what motivates his players, what motivates him, and why motivation becomes a factor in what his team does day in and day out. Coach Jones, what's your definition of motivation?
Well, to me, I think motivation is whatever gets your juices going. You know, whatever's important to you, why you do what you do. And, you know, for me, there's a lot of different things that go along that in my job.
Okay. I know that being a coach has its time constraints on family, and the hours are different, and you might be in the office till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, you might be back in at 6 in the morning. So what motivates you every day to get up and say, I'm going to go to work today, and what gets you going? What's your juices that make you flow and want to come to work?
Well, I think when I first took the job, it was, you know, we had kind of taken over a program that had not had success, and there was people that didn't think we could be successful moving from the NAI level to the Division II level. So when I first got started coaching, that was it. And plus I got an opportunity that most don't at a very young age. I began at 26 when I got this job. So there was a lot out there that he's too young, he won't be able to get it done. So that was a lot of motivation there when I first got the job. And then as we moved into the NCAA, people would say, well, they're not going to be able to compete in the South Atlantic Conference. And so that motivated me a great deal to kind of prove some people wrong that I thought we could compete. It would take us some time. And then, you know, we've been on a 7 or 8 year pretty good run here of winning the league 3 times and going to 4 regionals and winning 2 conference tournaments. And I realize I've been in the game long enough, if you don't stay motivated to show up every day to work hard, people are going to pass you by. It's hard to get to the top, but it's harder to stay on top. And if I lose that motivation and I don't come in excited about what we're trying to continue to do, and then I can't expect our players, our other coaches to be excited about it as well.
Okay. I got here a little early and toured the facility, and I noticed you had a wall downstairs that says Pioneers in the Pros. And I was just kind of looking. I noticed early on when you first took the job over, you probably didn't have that caliber of athlete that you've been getting lately. Is that something that motivates these guys you have now, saying, hey, such and such got into the pros, signed a contract? Is that something that motivates these guys to come here and work a little bit harder, that the tier of athletes you're getting now is a little bit better than you had in the past?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we've seen out of that is that from a recruiting standpoint, we're attracting, you know, obviously this facility helps, but when you can take a recruit through your clubhouse and say, hey, there are 10, 11, whatever, 12 guys that have had the opportunity to move on, then all of a sudden you're getting that type of athlete. Whereas in the past, my first 2 or 3 years, you know, that type of athlete probably didn't think he had any chance to move on. And, you know, I would be willing to say we've had more than any other team in our conference that have gone on the pro ball. So it is a motivational factor. Now I can sit and talk to that kid and say, I understand what your aspirations are, is to move on and play at the next level.
Well, Coach, I want to appreciate the time you spent with us today talking about motivation, and I know you took out time for your busy schedule, and we just want to thank you for doing that. We're going to go back to Kenny at the home station. Thank you, Kenny. Well, this in-depth report on motivation has been extremely enlightening. This is Kenny signing off for WTCV